Welcome, Bike. Big content. It's been a minute. It's been a week. It's been a month. Probably more. Have we done an episode in 2023?
Mm-hmm.
We did, right?
Yeah.
1 or 2.
And we're like, we won't miss.
We won't miss. Just the first 6 we'll miss.
But I have heard from multiple people that they've been missing it.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. So at least someone is watching.
I have heard, people don't know what they love until it's actually gone.
Yeah.
This is probably not one of those. I don't know if it's real or not. Like, people are like, oh, where you been? I'm like, you didn't fucking aren't paying attention anyways when we put up episodes. Why don't we start there? Like, that was a goal, and then we just didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot going on, right? So it's like there's part of you that's when I outwardly put out a goal and then I just like don't do it, I feel like an idiot. I feel kind of like a fraud. I feel kind of like if I'm out here trying to like inspire people and then I put myself on a pedestal and then I don't reach that, or it's not even necessarily that I don't reach it, but it's just kind of like we're not even going to try to do it.
Right.
Like, we could have put more of an effort, but I also think I definitely don't put this on you. This was way more like the internal situation here at bdge. We need to figure out, I think, because this is more of like a deeper show that gets into the internal workings of things. So by the time we got back on here, I needed to have everything straightened out.
Yeah.
I needed to have my head right. So I don't know.
I think it's relatable. People set goals and then they're like, whatever. But I think the best thing that we could do is now have stick with itness.
Never
miss it.
Now we never miss.
Right. But it's I think it's real, and people understand that you set these goals and real life shit happens. The real life shit that happened to you just happened to also be in your business, but family emergencies and there's reasons why you can't do it every single day or every single week, and that's okay. But understanding that in the grand scheme of things, if we're taking this mindset of like, we're going to do this for the year, for 2 years, for 5 years, then 6 episodes is really a little blip.
So. I think what bothered me the most was just the fact that I was like, oh yeah, Jack's traveling, and I knew damn well like that had nothing to do. We could have done episodes while you were traveling, but it's just like I'm not in the mindset to do it. I think it's just really important not to judge yourself when you're going through all this kind of stuff. There's so much that we could talk about right now. We could talk about the traveling. We could talk about the last month in terms of...
Well, I hit my goal for the year.
100K on TikTok.
No. Well, that I smashed through.
Yeah.
I got engaged, remember?
Oh, right. Dude, I didn't even say congratulations outside of fucking Instagram. What a dick I am. You didn't tell me you were doing that before you went.
I didn't tell anyone.
Okay.
So my family... Well,
that wasn't like me getting mad. I didn't remember if you did
I know, but it's become a huge thing because in today's day and age, everyone needs to know before they know. And
there needs to be like a vlog. There needs to be, I get
the only people that know were my parents and Casey, and then her parents and her sister. Like, Casey's girlfriend didn't know, Hallie's best friends didn't know, so we kept it really tight to the vest, which was tough. It taught me that if I were to go cheat on her, it's doable, but God, I would not be able to live day to day. Like, it's sad, like, how easy it is to lie, but it's like you just live with, especially the day of. The day of,
eating you
she
up.
freaked out at me because it was our 6-year anniversary of dating, which was the whole plan. And she posted an Instagram, and people were like, where's the ring? Where's the ring? And so she was like, this is embarrassing. And I'm like, you got 6 hours. Like, I wish you could say something, but you can't because they don't know. So
how long do you have it planned for that was going to be like the day?
2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Was it in Aruba?
In Aruba on the beach. It was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, dude.
So I hit my goal.
Yeah, I'm happy for both of you. All right, so you hit your goal. Yeah, it was easy. It was easy when you wiped out right away. So you missed one, you made one.
Exactly.
You're back to square zero. Yeah, I got to get back to square zero. I almost feel like the right way to do this is probably to allow you to take the reins here.
Yeah.
And almost question from the outside anything that you saw in particular that you were like, what's this? What is that? What's the mindset now? Rather than me dictating and just doing an open dialogue, because I think I've made a couple vlogs in the last month or so where I've like talked about it, but like might be other things.
I want to go at it from a couple angles. One, like, you have been the voice, but it's more like I can pick your brain and it'll be helpful. And like, 2, how's it help creators who want to be in the spot where they're hired by a company, and understanding like why you let creators go. And also like how a creator who becomes a business person has to deal with, right, your way of creating and also running a business. We're big believers in like transparency and openness is going to help other people navigate similar situations, but also like you couldn't be completely transparent and open because there's things that like it's not fair to them, it's not fair to you, it's not beneficial to the business. Like, did you see NBA Top Shot, Roham, that whole thing? Someone
In
wrote
what context?
someone wrote a hit piece on him about how he spends crazy and all this stuff.
I didn't see
And
this.
like in the grand scheme of things, if they could be completely open and just show did he do it or not, that would probably make sense. But that's like when you're talking about a business that was valued at $7 billion, that's just not how you do things, right? So as you grow, how do you manage that openness, right? Can you, who used to put out like your yearly revenue, whatever, when it was just you or one other person, do you still feel you can do that? So I think like that's how I want to attack it, is just where your head's at on all of that. So one, how much did you feel comfortable sharing, and how much do you feel comfortable sharing now?
I will say, out of everything career-wise, work-wise that I've ever gone through, this is the thing that I've been least comfortable sharing about.
Yeah.
Because I understand every word that I put out has an impact on a lot of things and people that are important to me, which is like the grand scheme of things. I get a lot of comments like, if you just like told us exactly what happened, or like why you let them go, or like XYZ. And I'm like, yeah, here's the thing though. If 10,000 people commented that, I still care more about the 2 people and their future than I do about your 10,000 opinions, which is why it's like, I can be honest, but I don't know if it does anyone good that I actually care about doing well in the situation.
And people still speculate on you talking vaguely in general. They'll be like, oh, so Max, Animal and Ike really did fuck up, or they really were. But it's not that. It's just like, it's between you guys.
I will say, if I don't regret the decision whatsoever. I don't regret like the direction whatsoever. I think probably the one thing out of this entire thing I do regret is even going on camera and even giving the justification of what's going on. Like, I don't even really need to do that, saying like, hey, they're not working here anymore, this is why. I think that was probably a reaction of me. Okay, so it happened on a Monday. I think nothing happened Monday or Tuesday. It was obviously very emotional, like 48, 72 hours. Wasn't sure what the next shoe to drop was going to be. Like I knew I'd eventually have to address it. I didn't know at what length I wanted to address it. I didn't know like what direction it was going to take by that point when I did have to get on camera. Animal and Ike both, made their own personal TikTok videos. I don't even want to say like the word address just like kind of makes me angry now, because it feels like TikTok people feel like you owe them this whole like address every time anything happens. But it's like, I came out, made a video and was just like, hey, I'm not working at bdge anymore, end of story. Animal came out and said, hey, I'm not working at bdge anymore. And then he kind of dove into it. He didn't like dive into it, but he threw a couple things out there that he's allowed to say what he wants to say. Put me in a position where I felt like, okay, you're addressing some things that didn't need to go out to the outside world. Therefore, I probably need to also dive into that boat where I, as a leader and in the position that I'm in, probably shouldn't have even like got down to that level. Like his video was, there was one thing that I didn't do. Do I think I should have been let go? XYZ. And like, that's a very like TikTok-y answer. That's clearly no context behind that. So when I address it and I was like, they didn't do this, they didn't do something. Therefore, as a business, this is how you have to operate. Like that felt like it wasn't me. That felt like it was me emotionally acting in the situation based off of what was said by other people. And like, that's something I don't typically do. Like when I put something vulnerable out there, it's from me inside, like the way I'm actually feeling. And I kind of felt like that, what I said there was dictated by something else that was put out there. So that's kind of like my only regret. Like I wish I didn't even, and I know there'd be even more speculation out there now, like what really happened, like what's going on behind the scenes, shit like that. But I almost feel like if I couldn't go 100% in on the truth behind everything, then it probably wasn't even worth opening that can of worms to begin with. So I think out of the whole situation, that was the only thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was fully expecting the backlash, fully expecting what was going to happen leading up to that. And I knew it would be like a tough month afterwards, and I knew people would get over it afterwards, which we're at that point now where it's like not really a big deal anymore. Life happens, these things happen in real life. So in terms of what I'm comfortable sharing, like that's the only thing is like, I don't want to share like negative aspects because it doesn't feel like it's helping anybody. I like opening up and sharing things when I feel like it can help people relate. It can help people get through things. It can help people feel like, oh, I'm going through this shit. Like, he's also going through a tough time, but I don't want to put negativity out in the world just for the sake of people like getting their gossip fixed. There's no need for that.
So you don't regret the decision. It's the right decision. As a business owner, I also want to put on record, like, when I say like I don't regret the decision or it's the right direction for us, that doesn't mean, that does not
like directly point towards those guys as an individual whatsoever, right? Like if you're a fucking baseball team, it's like, oh, this guy's a great basketball player. Where the direction of our team is not to bring on you know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. I just want to make that like crystal clear. Like I don't want.
It's even staying within the baseball analogy. Like you needed someone who could steal bases, not necessarily hit home runs. Like you might have just needed a different role, which is a dynasty role as opposed to an entertainment role.
Yeah.
So, all right, you've shared that you kind of relied on others to help you through the time emotionally. What about when it came to making the decision, right? Because obviously it's your business. You can do whatever you want. I think that I agree. I don't know the inner workings, and I think that whatever decision you make will lead you in the right direction. Is there any bit of, did you speak to anyone about the actual decision, not necessary to get multiple viewpoints? Because this entrepreneurial journey can be I don't even want to say lonely. It's just like sometimes if you're not surrounded by other people, you might just be like, oh, this is the right thing to do. You talk to a couple friends, they're like, oh yeah, we have your support. But I think there's probably fair points that were made that doesn't make the decision wrong, but like maybe you didn't see certain angles to where you could have monetized Ike's Lunch better, or you could have done is any of that? I'm less concerned with like what would you have done instead, but like did you talk to anyone, and how would you do it going forward?
I did not really speak to anyone from a pure business standpoint. Like, do you think this is a good tactical move, et cetera? Because to be honest, I felt like I knew what the right move was tactically. I spoke to a handful of people, like yourself included, just from more of like a really just like a friendship angle, just be like, this is about to be a really tough time. Like, if there's something I'm kind of overlooking in terms of, me personally, or like this is, just, I guess it was more just so from a venting standpoint. It wasn't necessarily like I need help making this business decision. Like I've been running this for 8 years straight. Like I'm in the numbers every single day. I understand what makes us move. And I understand, whether it's the culture we're trying to build here or whatever we're trying to build here. Like I think I have a good grasp on, I've always been able to see things long-term. Like I'm always someone who 5 years ago, I was looking like, okay, in 5 years, how do I want this to look? 7 years ago, how do I want this to look in 3 years? And I feel like I've been pretty fucking good at doing that up to this point. And this just felt like another spot where that was going to be the case. And it's going to be something where like, there are probably a lot of people that have their opinions and are like, this was such a stupid move. And it's one of those things, it's like, it's a cop-out, but it's like in 3 to 5 years, you can come talk to me. And if I'm in the wrong move, then yes, like I'll let you know that you were right and I was wrong. And like, there's nothing I can do at that point, but there's nothing in me that's like wavering, like, ah, man, like I probably made a long-term fuck up here. It's like, you're in a spot where you have, whether it's finite resources, finite energy, finite mental capacity, and you have to make decisions that are extremely fucking difficult. And I did that, and really all I asked for from the people in my life was just like to make sure that I'm not being crazy here. Never felt like I was, and never got a reaction like that from other people, and more so just like support, just like check in on me, make sure I'm cool, because I knew how hard it was going to be for a few weeks. I think that was really the way I looked at it.
Yeah. I think it could be beneficial for creators to get into kind of a network of other creators to talk things through. If you want to change strategies on editing styles all the way to changing platforms, stuff like that. And I think that the creator probably knows what the right thing is, but sometimes we just don't. Sometimes we don't even know what's out there.
I also think, like, actually going back to that, now that I think about it, I did speak to a few other people that were like business owners or in our similar vein, in terms of like level wise. And you'll realize that like the normal, level-headed people will never be like, this is what I would do in this situation. They're always like, what got you there. Like you will make the right decision for your business. It's like, it's going to be hard right now, but at the end of the day, like, what's right. What pushes you, what's going to make sure that you're in it for the long term, XYZ. So I think that was like the business advice I got wasn't any sort of subjective business advice to like bdge. It was more just like from one owner to another, from one person to another, like, like deep down what's right, what's wrong, what will be there for you at the end of the day. Yeah.
So coming out of it, how do you feel? How's everything internally? You feel like it's on to the next thing?
Honestly, I feel great. Yeah. I feel phenomenal. Like I feel like I've gotten over the hump. I knew that after the whole situation happened, there would be this whole chain of events that happened. I wasn't sure exactly what they would be. I wasn't sure exactly how they would go in motion. But even things like, that came out of left field where it's like Breadbasket has Animal and Icon, and like they're like one of my favorite channels for content. I'm like, this is crazy. They DM'd me beforehand and they were like, hey, like, we got a, I don't know how much I want to put on there with all this stuff, but like they reached out to me beforehand and I was like, okay, I was like, yeah, like good for everybody that's involved here. Like I want good for everybody.
You're not rooting against Animal and Ike at any point.
No. But it was just like things like that would continue to happen. And every time, just the nature of social media, every new thing that happens is very like incendiary. It's very inflammatory. It's very, let's like start this back up again because people are thirsty for it. I think it gave me like a great perspective on most people on like social media, most people on the platform. Most of them, again, do want transparency. They just do want vulnerability. I think a lot of people don't know what to think. I think a lot of people just take the opinions of people. And I think most of the people that like jump in, I think you're a fucking weirdo if you get into like the comment sections of people's TikToks and you're like commenting negatively about it. And I don't even mean just like related to bdge, but if I go to other people's accounts, that's the one thing I realized. Like we got a lot of hate over the last like 3 weeks, obviously. But if you go to anyone you admire on TikTok, like someone that like you look up to, someone that you've been following for a long time, you go to any one of their videos, you're going to see a bunch of negativity for no fucking reason. And I'm just like, okay, there's just no, it's either people that are crazy, people that are really hurting in their own life, or people that are like 15 or younger. And I'm like, neither of those three categories I'm really going to concern myself about right now, that's kind of the way I looked at it. It was more so trying to either not care or empathize with the people that are like in a negative space. So I just wanted to make sure like everything died down a bit, and then I would kind of get back on there and get back to normal speed. Like the only thing we could do in that situation, again, not to make it more inflammatory, was to put our head down and just work. Right. It's like, we're going to come out, do the content that we want to do, translate it onto TikTok, and you can keep commenting, but like eventually the likes will go down and you'll stop doing it because you realize you don't actually care about the situation. And that's kind of where we're at now. And then I got on TikTok last week and just answered a bunch of like Q&A that were like business related. And you could see as soon as I did that, tide turned like immediately. And we still get, obviously we're going to get negative comments forever. It'll always be a thing. But now it's like got to the point where you have people kind of like fighting back the negative comments. They're like, just get out of the comment section, you fucking loser. No, this is actually dub content, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, you just realize how fickle everything on social media really is. Most people don't give a fuck. Most people like they just, I empathize with them again because they have so little going on in their lives that like they allow this kind of stuff to make up like 90% of their day. And it's like, man, I feel grateful that I have something that I...
Bizarre, there's so many people out there.
So many, dude.
But also, I guess the counter to that is like there's like 20 comments, there's 100,000 views, and then there's like 7 billion people. So it's really a finite amount of people who are like commenting that stuff, but it's what you see.
The normal people, like I would never go on to a random person's TikTok and then just start commenting shit. I probably drop 15 comments. Like outside of our personal or like business account, I probably comment maybe 10 to 12 things on the TikTok platform a year, and like 8 of them are on your TikToks, And they're just
which
like
are negative comments. A lot.
No, I mean,
just fucking with me. So my last question is, if this didn't happen on TikTok, right? The whole series, the whole personalities built, like you've mentioned, YouTube felt more level-headed. If it happened on Twitter. Now, Twitter is just as trolly. And so is Instagram. Do you think it was the platform that kind of created this whole thing?
Of course. And I also, when I say like YouTube is more level-headed, I also come at that with a bias because I built my platform. People on YouTube have known me for years and years and years. So, of course, they're going to like have my back and have, a point of view that's more positive towards me. So I obviously see that and be like, that's the way I see things. So they're seeing it the same way. They're more level-headed. Of course, the nature of TikTok being a much younger platform is like, oh my God, you fired someone. You might as well have killed them. It's like, that's just not how the real world works. It's not like an immoral or unethical decision that I made. It just happened to be a shitty one in a shitty situation. Yeah, I mean, the platform, I don't want to say the platform itself, the virality of the situation, anytime there's like drama or gossip gets escalated on that platform, whereas like it doesn't really happen on other platforms, not anywhere to the level that it does on that. But it speaks to, I don't think there's any like breaking news here. It was just the way we built our audience was through this piece of content in which the two people that were let go were very, very front-facing and front-focused in the content. So I think it was just a natural progression to see that happen. And you look at, okay, so we did like season 1, wild popularity. Season 2, by like halfway through it, I think a lot of the guys in the office were kind of like checked out. We didn't really like love doing it every single day. You can even see in the comments, like the views were way down from where they were, and people were like, oh, the series like fell off or whatever. As soon as you take it away from them, that's when they feel like they need to like regain their power. Be like, what the fuck? You can't take it away. You can't take something that I didn't want to watch anyways away from me. You know what I mean? So it's like, it becomes this bully mentality of them feeling like they have power over you because the platform gives you numbers as strength, you know? And it's like, that's another way of saying like, I don't feel like I have any control in my real life, so let me try to make something happen on this platform. I'm not happy in real life, so let me try to like pull you down on this platform because it's the only platform I have, you know, at scale. So just the, I would say the nature of the platform plus us being on the platform, like the way that we built our audience on the platform definitely didn't help the situation, I guess. I don't know if I'm answering these like in a way that makes any fucking sense, but
no, I think that
I'm still trying to like,
I think that's
line.
life, which is there isn't a clear answer. It's not black and white. Like these are your best friends and they did great work for the company and the company wants to do different things. Like it's never as simple as, I mean, people are debating if Daniel Jones deserves X amount of dollars. It's not like, does he deserve 0 or 40? It's like, it's a very gray area. So is there anything else you want to say on the matter? Because I feel like this is probably it. And I mean, of course,
this does feel like it. Yeah. So it feels like the last time addressing it.
Yeah. Would you ever want to work with Ike and Max again?
Dude, I think a lot of what happened in this situation too got overblown to the point when you were like, I love those dudes, right?
Yeah.
But you were like, they were your best friends. Like at no point were they ever my best friends, to be honest with you. But we became very close through the bond that we had through BDG, right? Like I don't know if I ever spoke to either of them in our entirety of high school. Like that's how when people are like, how do you know each other? It's like we went to high school together. They both graduated with my sister, who's a couple years older. And then like 5 years down the line, Animal got into the fantasy league with us, whatever. And we became tight through the podcast. And we did one podcast a week for a few years. And then I decided to hire them full time, which was like a 10-month span. So it wasn't like, there was a lot of like, oh my God, they worked for you for like 5 years and like you guys are best friends. It was, and this feels like me sounding salty, I know, but I just want to give context behind the situation. So it's like, Steve, like you met Steve, my best friend. Like he's my best friend in the world, like best man at wedding type shit, you know, like best friend. So a lot of it I feel like got externally overplayed to the point where it's like, this can't be undone because what you did was so vile. And it's like, I would love to go back to literally what we were doing before full time. You know, like if we did once a week podcast, like I still want to do the draft. That was all to say, like, I would still love to do what we were doing in the capacity of what we were doing before we got into the office. The E-Town Get Down vlogs were like some of our most popular content. People still like those dudes a lot. And so do I. And I like the content they've always made for us. But that will obviously have to be a group decision, something that they want. Like at that point, it's like maybe they're just like, that's kind of like a bad part. Like maybe they ended the tenure here being like, I don't really want to get back into there because it makes me feel shitty. You know what I mean? So I would understand that if that was the route, but I would still love to do some pieces of content that we had been doing prior. I would still love to give them like the same platform that we have here that I've been giving them for a while. Like I would love to do that again. So from my point of view, absolutely no fucking hard feelings whatsoever for the future.
Have you spoken to them?
I don't remember the last time I spoke to them. I think Sexy texts Animal sometimes. I think that's probably like the closest tie we have here. I would not, I'll put it this way. I would not feel, if I had something to say, I would not feel uncomfortable texting either of them right now. But I don't think it's like a situation where I just want to like try to spark a friendship right now because of it's still.
Give them space.
Still, it's still kind of like up in flux. I would be surprised if our paths don't cross again at some point in the future.
I have a good feeling on that too.
Yeah. So no, I mean, I haven't talked to them, but I talked to them after it happened because there was things within a week or two that I needed to talk to them about. I think Animal came in here to grab some of his stuff like a week later or so, and I helped him bring his shit out to the car. There wasn't really anything said, you know, of any sort of like substance or depth. It did feel like there was not a tension or like an awkwardness, just like there were things that someone wanted to say something. I don't think either of us knew like what to say at that point, and it kind of just got left unsaid. So yeah, I don't know how they feel about the situation right now, but they've moved on. They're working with Underdog now, so I'm glad they got a good situation going on there. So it feels like everyone's kind of past the moment.
Yeah.
So That's all I have to say on the matter.
All right, the therapy session is over. We can talk about other stuff now.
Let me ask you, I guess, like, because when we're in it, it's like, it's basically like I walk in the office and there's actually a mini tornado just going around the office all day for 3 weeks. And I'm like, all right, let's avoid the tornado. Let's also make sure it doesn't fuck everything else up over here. Outside perspective, because it takes over our whole world. What does it look, what like, does it matter? Like, was it a thing?
No,
does anyone care?
It obviously, I mean, I love Ike and Animal. Like I enjoyed coming in here and hanging with them, and I still consider them friends. I don't text them. I don't really have contact with them. But like, yeah, if I saw them, I would say what's up. But from an outside perspective, I think you're attracted to the drama, the initial drama, but I also knew it was coming. And so then for 48 hours, you're like, if I'm on TikTok, it's all
you're saying like you're attracted, like you are. Okay.
Just
I think you meant like the way it looked was like I'm so attracted.
No. All you wanted to do was, I'm sure, I mean, you deleted the app off your phone, so everyone's attracted to the drama. But then the next day, it's something new. And like you said, I think the inflammatory part's really, really strong. Like then they go to Underdog, and it's like, you know, they're doing stuff or Breadbasket too. But yeah, I was excited to see them take it what I felt like was the right way, because I've been in both positions. I don't know if I've ever been let go technically, but like I've been at the top of Snapback, I've been the bottom feeder, and it's like to go and do your own thing essentially is tough. So like that they started the podcast and they started working together and they started doing that. So I was like excited to see them do that, because they could have easily sulked, and like at the end of the day, you still have your job, your business, and they're the ones that are kind of on the market. So I was excited for that. So like when they did Breadbasket, I was excited. When they're doing Underdog, like I'm excited for them. But yeah, at this point, like it's past. No offense to anyone, like, but this drama isn't big enough that like anyone could really, really care about.
So bigger next time.
Yeah, exactly. Bigger. You got to fire everyone. You got to quit. Like that's the thing is, I talk about this all the time. Like no one cares about you, and once you kind of understand that, it's a good feeling. You know, it's not a PR disaster. It's not a breaking brand relationships for any reason. So at the end of the day, it's like an unfortunate learning for both sides, and now we're through it, and I think both sides are going to be better off this way.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right, so I asked you about TikTok because I wanted to talk about now, once again, Joe Biden just passed a law that said TikTok could be banned. Any more panic button, any more worry? Not from just a bdge, but like if you're a creator out there who's big on TikTok.
Steve was like, while this whole while the whole thing was going down, Steve was like, yo, it'd be amazing if I just banned TikTok right now. Like the world would just forget about this in a second. Okay, so I think where they're at in that stage is like they can pass I don't know what the right word for it's not a law, but they can go to the Senate or whatever and pass a vote that actually enables Biden to have the ability to ban the app or something like that. Yep. Still feels like it's 4 steps away from being a practical choice.
Yeah. It feels like there's momentum though.
It feels like there's a little bit more momentum.
In terms of like people are literally, I'll take it more holistic. The reason why I'm comfortable talking about the drama and acknowledging that is because what my feeling is with content right now is like, it's so bad. Like it's so low quality. Yeah. It's the worst stuff that works. I mean, you look at the Snapchat shows, it's like all this clickbait, terrible stuff. And I'm not even talking about editing styles, which we've talked about before. And there's these rumors that the Chinese TikTok or whatever it's called is high quality information through video content. And that the Chinese are fixing our algorithm to be low quality, drama filled, unhelpful type content. And if that's really the case, like that can affect millions and billions of people in the United States for generations. It's like it feels like you're getting dumbed down.
Do you enjoy spending time on TikTok, the app?
Not recently, and I love TikTok, but now I'm like, ugh, here's
one of the takeaways I have from that as well. And I'm not trying to be like a TikTok hater, but when I made the announcement video, whatever, like 24, 48 hours later, I was like, I'm just gonna delete the app off my phone.
Yeah.
Didn't re-download it for like 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks, whatever. When I got back onto it, not even like bdge aside, Nick Ercolano aside, I was just like, man, my life was literally like significantly better when I was not wasting my time scrolling on this app. I realized just how much dumb shit you just go to. And now that I'm like back on it sometimes, I'm just sitting there like, I literally can't get off this app, even though I don't give a fuck about the things that are in front of my face.
Yeah,
my life
just
is
finds
my life is
harder
better
to find
without
good content on TikTok right now. And look, this is in general. Like, I mean, you don't watch anything, but Kendrick Perkins got in a fight with JJ Redick yesterday on First Take, and it was over a race thing. And Nikola Jokic, should he really be the MVP? And Redick's like shooting it down, and Redick's like, look, I love the opportunity to be here. But like, this is garbage. Like, you're just saying that the best player in the NBA is only winning the MVP because of, and it's just gotten like the cancel culture, the clickbait.
It's a lot.
And it's why I continue to go back and I'm like, Pat McAfee is so fucking good because he doesn't need any of this. And I think if you're a creator out there, my belief right now is you got to play the system and the algorithm, because that's the only way you'll get viewership and gain momentum. But stick to what you want to do. Like
the longevity will only come from like doing what's real to you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's a life lesson. Like being a good person over 10 years, at the end of the day, you will win. The person, because all the grifters in crypto and all the, right, they made a lot of money. They lost twice as much, and now they don't have jobs. And
that's why I felt okay during this entire situation. Because like, I don't feel like I did anything that was not me. Right. It's like everything I did was just my gut, my instinct. And it's like, that's what I've been doing for 10 years. No reason to feel like it was putting me in a wrong direction. Where I feel like nowadays, I don't even know if most people like know direction they're going or know if what they're doing is even like true to themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like doing things. It's like, okay, maybe I'm doing this because I like it. Maybe I'm doing it because I feel like the algorithm will like it. Maybe people will leave positive comments. But yeah, I think we're going to see a big swing of the pendulum over the next like couple of years back to where we were so excited about like short form content, vertical content. But I do feel like it's becoming a bit detrimental to, you know, the overall content landscape, mindsets. I think in 10 years, we're going to look back and be like, TikTok ruined a generation of fucking brains to begin with. Like, people are for sure getting dumber. And I just don't think people can speak for themselves anymore on that platform. They just like do what they think will get the most likes. They do what, you know, all that kind of stuff. Nothing groundbreaking that we haven't talked about before on this. I think one of the other things during the situation when I was like, I need to just put my head down and work, it's actually, you know, you came in, you're like, I didn't realize you were like a Falcons fan like that because I was getting fired up about Lamar. I've been like slowly kind of loving football and like free agency and college football, like everything. Yeah, like I'm back in my bag a little bit right now. It was kind of a beautiful thing to like get away from just the idea of content in general. And it got me back to like what my first passion was and why I got into content to begin with. And I was like, this is kind of nice.
This is wild.
I was only able to focus.
Months, like, I hate fantasy football. I hate this. I hate this. And now you're like, it's refreshing.
But yeah, because like I took a break from everything. So I didn't have 50,000 things to focus on. Right. Like literally I just came in here and I was like, these are like the 4 things you got to do every single day. I'm going to do what I have to do every day. Yeah. And that's it. That's what will get us through this. Don't worry about thinking of new ideas. Don't worry about like doing 95 different things right now. I'm going to go back to the basics, the foundation of like what got us here in the first place. And I wasn't thinking about money and I wasn't thinking about growing. I wasn't thinking about scaling. I was literally like, I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter right now. I'm just doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, and that made me feel so like good and rejuvenated again. And I'm like, I almost want to turn this into a football podcast.
Yeah.
Free agency period has been awesome. I've been having so much fucking fun. Yeah. Even if Lamar Jackson's a fraud and is not coming to Atlanta.
He's not a fraud, but he's not coming to Atlanta. Unfortunately, it sounds like he's staying with the Ravens. I was ready to jump ship. I'm not going to lie.
Were you? Yeah. I was ready to jump ship when we didn't get him.
I'm
done with the bullshit.
My new thing in general is like sports fans. I don't want to go into it, but
now you don't like sports.
No, I love sports. And sometimes I wish I could just watch sports and enjoy the moment. But
that's really what you do, dude.
No,
all
now
you do is watch sports.
Well, all right. So that's actually an interesting topic. So I posted my story about how I was taking a vacation last week, which is my first week-long vacation in however long. And people were like, dude, you were just at Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, All-Star. And I was trying to explain, it's a dream job. I would rather do absolutely nothing else, but it is still work. Like, yes, I got to have a beer and bet on, the first touchdown score at the Super Bowl. But we also had to do food review, get the note, get content posted, record the right things, tweet, plan for the week. We took 100 meetings during the week. It's exhausting because you are still working. So I think like that is something for creators too, that, you feel like you could be doing more, especially if you're doing something that you want to do, but know that like it is all work. Just because you enjoy your job, I think it makes you better than others if you can enjoy the work you're doing.
I also think there's something to, I was hanging out with someone the other day, like last weekend. It was someone new that I just met, and they were talking about how they like what they do for work. They were a really passionate person. And I was like surprised that they hadn't found something that they like built their passion around, But they're like, I enjoy my work. Like, it's fine. I'm not passionate about it, but I have like a lot of other passions in my life, right? Yeah. Like, it's like they own a dog and they're like so happy to just take it out every day. And like, all that, they travel a lot and they do all this kind of stuff. And it like made me think, because we're so wrapped up in this world where our passions bleed into our work and it's like 24/7 for us. But it's also okay to understand like what you are passionate about. And I think we have this culture where it's like, if you're passionate about something, you have to make it your job. You have to make it your life. It's okay. Like, in the same sense that you might not be passionate about your job, but you have 10 things outside of it that you're passionate about. We might be really passionate about our job, which we're spending 8 to 10 hours a day on. And then outside of that, it's like, I don't know how many things, that I'm really like fired up about when I step out of the office, So I think it's like okay to look at both things. I think there's a fine balance between filling up your tank work-wise, filling up your tank relationship-wise, filling up your tank, like all these different aspects. But I just think the idea of always trying to find something that you are passionate about is really, really important long-term. Like, if you're not passionate about work, but then you go home and you're like not doing shit, you're not trying to find hobbies, you're not trying to find friendships that like inspire you, if you're not trying to find those things, then it's problematic. But I think no matter how you like get it, any way you live it, right? Like, get it from any angle if you can. But I've been thinking more and more about the idea of that, like, as I'm trying to get a better like work-life balance, I've realized through this entire situation is like, at the end of the day, if I'm not in work, like, what do I have? I have the people around me. That's really it. So it's like those things become more important to me. It's like, maybe I empty this tank a little bit, put it more into there, because I think when I look back on it in 10 years, I think there will be things that I regret, and none of them will be work related. I think they'll all be personal related. I think they'll all be relationship related. Like, I've given up relationships for this. Maybe not explicitly being like, we have to break up because I got to go to work tomorrow, but in a way, it becomes a subconscious part of who I am. It's like, I'm always putting my energy first towards these things. Therefore, like, you're always going to be on the back burner. And it might not be a conscious choice that I make. It might not be something I say to the person, but like, I think that's kind of who I've become at this point, that I don't allow the other parts of my life to be expanded and be more impactful to me. And that's like a conscious choice that I want to change and move forward with, especially coming off of this situation.
So what are the next... Oh, actually a question I'm curious about, because I've been thinking a lot about money recently.
Talking to the right dude.
And, just in general, like what the last few years have been, which was this NFT market, the inflation, money was free. Like, money wasn't real almost. And then the layoffs started to happen because people grew too quickly, scaled too quickly, and like things seem to be coming back down to earth. Then I watched The Big Short on the plane the other day, and I'm
Got you worried?
It's just like, it feels like maybe we hit the bottom, but also maybe we're not even remotely close. And I'm not asking for you to like make a prediction on the economy. I'm more so asking, through 2.5 months almost, what have you seen in the market as like a creator, right? They're trying to get to full time with stuff going, budgets, marketing spend going up and down all the time. Like, what are you seeing just from your own perspective? Or like, do you guys not even waver with the markets because
I don't think we really waver with the markets much. Not like economically. I don't think anything we do is so substantial economically. Like, no products or services we offer are high price point. I think if you're a business that relies on like bringing in 10 to 15 customers a year that pay $10,000, for your product or something, if you're a consultant or something like that, like those are realistic numbers. I think that you might see a problem, right? But if we're talking about $10 products, $25 products, we haven't necessarily seen a dip in anything. Negotiating with partners or sponsors, haven't really seen a dip in anything. But I also think it goes back to like the core of who we are and what our business is, and what every good creator should aspire to do is put out really fucking good content. Like, at the end of the day, if you put out really high quality, great content that's valuable to people, everything else is going to work. Maybe you make a little bit less money during a down period, but like, no one's going to forget about you. If your content is free, people are going to hang around anyways. If it's that good, They're always going to hang around with you. So I think you should be approaching it the exact same fucking way you've been approaching it when it was good, when it was mediocre, before you were making money doing it anyways. Like, if your head is not in it, you're gonna lose regardless of what fucking market you're in. So I think the concern for people out there, the creators, should not be the market. If you're, I'm gonna be honest, like if you're worried about the market, you're already losing. Like you're already worried about the wrong thing. I don't think I've ever seriously once sat down and be like, man, we might be in trouble because of the economy or the market.
Interesting.
I think I'm like, we're gonna be in trouble because our content sucks right now, or we don't have a clear direction, or we don't have a clear future, or like I don't like the way our product's being made right now. It would never be an external validation because the internal shit takes care. It's like your body and your health, bro. Like if you're taking care of the internal shit, you're not worried about like a fucking scab that you have on your knee. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're taking care of yourself from a health standpoint, you know that you're going to be fine long term. You know, that's the way I look at business too. It's an inside out thing. I think it always is and it always will be. For people that are like really about this life, like you should only focus on what's going on internally. That will always reflect itself externally.
Yeah, we've taken time to scale recently. Like I think we had big fast goals, and I'm like, let's be more particular, just because that's kind of how I've always done it. And I think over time, because people got so excited by the fundraising and all that stuff, and I'm very happy that we did not do that.
Almost got caught up in it too.
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, no need. No need.
Yeah. It was just it was a crazy time, and I think like staying consistent throughout it is vitally important. Creating good content is vitally important. Sticking with who you are is vitally important. I'm going to call the next 2 years what I anticipate as like the real businesses win. There was a lot of foo-foo shit that could like fly. Like I
agree. And when you say that, because like I wholeheartedly agree with that, there's not even like an inkling of doubt in my mind that when the tidal wave comes and washes out and then goes back to sea, like I'm still going to be standing there. Like I'm still going to be on the shore.
I think what maybe this will help the audience understand is, from my perspective, and tell me if I'm wrong, the TikTok followers feel like the fake metric numbers. Not every single one, but the core are useful. But it's those exterior ones that don't matter. Because like when I think about the real, what I'm saying by the real businesses is like Underdog comes to us and they're like, all right, bring us users. Not just like post this and if we get users, like bring us users. We can do that. If SeatGeek comes to us and says like, we need you to sell tickets, not just create content and slap a logo on it. Like we can do that because we have real users that we've created good content for, that trust us, that believe in us. And that's what I think the next, so like, you know, on the Snapback Sports side, I'm very confident. Now on the agency side, I think we're going to weed through some shit of like some of our creators are just, they got vanity numbers. Can they sell merch or not? Right.
Are you nervous, and be honest, are you nervous at all? Like with the market economically with you guys, Snapback Sports, not the agency.
No, we're locked into some stuff, which also was another thought I had, which was like in the moment with Underdog, you know, when we were deciding on the length and the terms of our deal, like the market was so hot, we were like, oh, we're going to be able to get this from someone else, and then we can renegotiate after the year, and we might right now be locked into a deal that we wouldn't be able to get right now. So I feel pretty good. We're not nervous about any of that stuff. I think that I just want to be more careful. Like I don't want to grow too big. And then
I do think the next couple of years will be big for you guys in terms of like being focused.
Yeah.
I think you need to have like a few things that you're super serious about and like have those be the pillars and the foundations of what your brand is going to be for the next 5-10 years.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what those look like. That's obviously something you guys have to choose internally.
No, we're shooting a lot of shots right now, and now we got to like staff up behind it and execute on them. But I like testing it, like kind of testing it first.
You guys have always been like a big testing brand.
Yeah,
I feel like you've been testing for
we
years.
Do a million things. Right. Yeah. So YouTube's our next big test. You know, we invested $5,000 today into the videos. We're going to hire a YouTube editor specifically for this. We'll have 3 YouTube videos a week coming out now. Because that's where I think, you know, to dominate you, I got to get on YouTube.
I hope you do.
No, I just, you know, I see stuff on Snap where their show platforms, like they've taken a hit. CPMs are lower. It's more competitive there. It's just becoming more competitive.
Actually, something I did want to bring up as it relates to platforms. So YouTube Shorts started monetizing.
Yes.
And there was this entire buildup of like, this is going to be a game changer, you know. People aren't really going to create as much on TikTok if they're getting paid over here on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of the numbers coming out about like being paid for YouTube
I'll
Shorts.
just get out in front of this. You cannot monetize short form content. It's not possible. Even on Snapchat, which is short form, you still need 3 to 4 minute shows. You can't stick 15-second ads.
You're not making any money advertising wise on YouTube via Shorts.
Right.
It's so bad.
And you didn't on TikTok, which is why the creator fund didn't work. You did it on Spotlight on Snap. The only reason you did it was because they threw a crazy amount of money at it, and now you don't make $1 on Spotlight. All these short form platforms, in my opinion, are for awareness and distribution purposes. You must convert them to long form content.
I feel like I always thought that way, and then I started to change my mindset a little bit, and I didn't have like a hard stance on it because we were still new to being popular on the short form content, so I wasn't able to make my mind up on like, is this a real longevity play for us?
Sorry, I mean ads against short form. Can you monetize TikTok and Instagram Reels? For sure, through repetition and brand deal and stuff like that.
You mean ads?
But yeah, you can't run ads. It's just, it doesn't make sense because the only way you're gonna make, you got to get
if like, because ads are so not native to your content,
right?
And now they're taking up like 15% of the content itself, whereas like a YouTube ad read might take up 1/45. Like if we put a 60-second ad read in the middle of this, that would have been a fucking perfect plug right there if we actually had that. It would take up 1/52nd of the entire thing that no one would really give a shit.
Exactly.
But when it's 52 seconds and you're putting a 10-second ad read in, you're fucked. It's bad content.
It's bad content. So yeah, that's my feeling. Now, it doesn't mean stop creating short form content, because I think there is no better time to, gain viewership and gain momentum than right now with short form. But you can't bank on the YouTube Shorts program monetization. Like,
so how do you think is the best way to go about capturing that lightning in a bottle? Like you have all the eyeballs on obviously the way to grow in terms of awareness. And if you're obsessed with having a big number next to your follower account, you're doing that on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, IG Reels, whatever the case may be. How do you go about pushing that into something meaningful? How do you go about converting them to, YouTube, to whatever you're passionate about?
Well, I'll give you like there's an answer for every person. So how can you convert short form content to making money? Drewski, right? Puts out 60-second TikTok videos, 60-second Reels, builds up an audience that knows him for comedy, does live shows, does appearances, hosts the red carpet for a Fanatic Super Bowl party, does appearance fees, starts getting equity in fan control football. Like, he didn't even need long form to do that, just because it made him a comedian.
That I understand. Like the monetization point of it, I get. Like if you're an entertainer, there's no better platform than the vertical ones. And
but I'm going to give you
other
short form content. Start making long form YouTube, but use the short form cutouts to drive back, capture the best 60 seconds of it that fits the platform, and then has
there been a real successful way to pull those people in? Like for instance, big content, TikTok versus YouTube. We've been far more successful on TikTok, eyeballs awareness easily. Have any of them come over to the YouTube channel? Probably a very small amount. I'm asking if there are really any successful tactics here.
So, no, I'll give you a very specific tactic. If we had a guest on, and then there's a 60-second clip that goes viral, and it's like, go watch the rest of the interview.
Do you think it is just...
I think that converts.
You think it's just clipping the best parts and like going clickbaity with it? Not clickbaity, but like...
No. You pull the best parts of it.
You pull the best parts, and then you also like leave them. But it is, I guess, not clickbaity, but I feel like most of the ones that pull me into the longer form are always like, "Fuck, that was a good story for 60 seconds, but I needed to see second number 63 in it."
Interesting. No, I think like the Kelsey podcast. Like I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the long form one time, but I know that people like saw it. It reminded them to go watch. It reminded them to go listen. And you're renting headspace. That's really what it is. It's something we learned with Snapback Kitchen too, is like people got to see this stuff hundreds of times a month. And the more they see it, the more likely they are to go and watch. Mr. Beast, I've watched Mr. Beast videos because some of his stuff has like gone viral. And I'm like,
yeah, but that's why I mean, like he was YouTube first though. Like he was long form first. There was a lot of people getting popular through vertical first and then want to push people to the long form.
Right.
And I question how difficult it really is to be able to do that, because at the end of the day...
Well, now you have a platform to make those things go more viral.
No, the reason it's so difficult is because it's a different product to your audience, right? Long form content, people are like, I want to see 30 seconds clip. If you're like, no, I got a 30-minute clip, it's like, that's not what they want. That's not what they're doing on the platform. So in the same vein that we were just talking about how putting a 10-second ad read into your 60-second video is bad business, it's not that much different. It's a different version. It's lower on the spectrum, but it's on the spectrum. You are essentially doing an ad read for your own product. And it's similar to what you're already doing.
But what if
I
you
think
put
that's
out
what makes
good
it so
YouTube
difficult.
content?
What if the ad read that you're doing is for a great fucking product? No one cares.
You're saying, really? You think if
I don't know.
if a short form creator starts
it.
putting out good long form stuff, you don't think that people would then go and watch?
I think there will be some, but I'm curious as to like how many real successful examples there have been of people building a vertical audience first and then actually converting that vertical audience over to the long form. Not like we built YouTube first, then we have this whole backlog of success on there, easier to bring people over. I don't know how many examples there really are of that. And I think it's an extremely difficult thing to do. And you almost need to operate them as two different businesses.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think...
so then maybe your advice would be don't do short form.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it leads us.
Yeah.
I don't envy the people that need to blow up through TikTok right now. Is I guess how I would end this, but I think that probably is your best route. I think, and most of them do eventually end up elongating the platform. Like I think there's a 10-minute upload on TikTok now. People will be like, I'm not watching a 10-minute video, but I also think that's probably your best chance of building a real audience on there because there will be people that watch it, even if it's smaller. But the same thing with YouTube. Like you got to start from the ground and build it up, one person at a time, 10 people at a time, 100 people at a time. There you've built something meaningful. But I question, 10, 20, 30 seconds at a time. And there are TikTok creators that I love that do short form content. But if they're like, hey, my new podcast out today, I'm going to be like, don't love you that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if I know if they're like, this is the best fucking video I've ever done, I'm like, I don't care.
Well, okay. But what if it's like, what if it actually is better content than what they are currently making? That's the jump. It's like most people will go
There's
from
just
short
a barrier
form
to entry.
But
There
most
just
people will
is.
go from short form to a podcast. And it's like, what makes your podcast unique?
I mean, there's no difference between going short form to a podcast and to YouTube. That's just a lazy route.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think if you went like Alex Earl, right? She's
Did she have a
dominated
podcast?
short form. No. I'm saying if she started putting out quality vlog content, do you think people would watch? Because she started vlogging, but I don't know if she. But it feels like a lot of people won't take like the drop off, right? They won't accept that they get 100,000 views on TikTok, so they get 1,000 on YouTube. They're like, oh, whatever, I'll just go back to TikTok.
I think she'll probably be successful, but I also like caution. I think two things. Like she's so hot that like I think anything where she's in front of the camera is probably going to be successful.
Yeah.
Also, she's so successful on TikTok that I don't.
Okay, all right. So
I don't think measuring the success is worthwhile.
Could you create fantasy football content, short form, and then make it long form?
Yes, and I know a lot of creators in the TikTok space.
I'm saying
who have like 200,000 TikTok followers and 2,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
Like the gap is so wide.
Yeah,
the gap is so wide. It's such a
Are
hard
they
leap.
putting in the correct amount of effort on that's
probably not, and YouTube is a long game. It's like TikTok is so easy to blow up quickly to the fact that like I don't know. I'm not sure.
So I guess the advice would be have a little self-awareness. If you know that the initial success of TikTok or YouTube Shorts is going to kill your kind of stick with itness, right? So like for Snapback, for example, we have 500,000 subscribers. I've admitted 100 times. They're probably mean nothing right now. If we put out a long form video,
it means something.
It
means something to some people.
How close are you? You got there, right?
We're like, yeah, we'll get it soon, probably.
But we don't make $1 off YouTube because we're not monetized. But also, if we did long form right now, it'd probably get 1,000 views, right? But I know this now. But I'm saying we're hiring a video editor, and I know this is a luxury. But I'm saying I'm going to put out 150 videos on YouTube, have the thumbs correct, have the titles correct, and promote them correctly. Treat them like a product drop, right? For the next 52 weeks.
Okay, so how do you plan on promoting them? How do you plan on doing it? I'm assuming you're
We'll
going to
promote from our existing platforms, but we'll also take the best moments, cut them into YouTube Shorts, cut them into TikToks, and hopefully
within those though, where you're going to be like at the end, you're going to put a little screen like 3 to 5 seconds to say like check out the YouTube.
I don't even know if we will. Yeah, I don't think we will.
You're going to like pin a comment, top comment, or you can't pin, I guess, on TikTok, but like also why the fuck did they stop doing it? It's weird. Yeah, it's like full.
No, I think it'll just be like people, you know, we'll get a logo, we'll get. Like, people will start to see it more and more, and then they'll find intrigue, and then we'll do our Snapback Mondays again, and that should we'll see, though. Like,
I wonder if maybe over a 2-year period it does really, really work. But everything is just so fast-paced on these platforms that it's hard to actually
like
see what's working and what's
if
not.
we put out 150 videos over the next year, what do you think we could get to view-wise if I told you the content's going to be really good?
Really good content.
It'll be pretty general. Like, it'll just be sports and culture and entertainment. And
my instinct tells me that, oddly enough, the way to grow on YouTube is to go more niche. I think like almost every YouTuber that like really finds a foothold is through being like an expert on one category.
Right.
That being said, though, this might be one of those things where it's like exponential. It's like very few can make it happen, but the ones that do blast off. So I don't want to like choose. It's not black and white. Obviously, I can't choose one way or another. I do think that you have enough
like if
brand recognition.
If we set a goal, like
per video views, 150 videos. What would you be excited about if I told you that like you'd have 10,000 consistent views every YouTube video after 150?
Yeah,
like it was like 1,000 at that for the first 20, it was 1,000 for next 20, 2,000. You know, went up incrementally that way. Would you be happy with 10,000 per video?
Long term, no, because I think we got to get more into like a 50 to 100,000.
How long will 150 videos take? 2 years? A year?
I mean, it should be a year.
Okay,
a year and a half.
I realistically think that's like a phenomenal goal. Yeah. If after a year and a half, you have 10,000 consistent viewers on YouTube on like longer form video, that's a really core strong fan base.
Yeah.
You probably underestimate how powerful that could be right there by itself. I think 10,000 is a really good goal to shoot for.
The only thing we have, which is such like a mind fuck, is when we did our Madden series in the middle of COVID. Now there was no competition and no one was making content. We were doing like 10,000 a video. So we've gotten there, and this should be bigger in theory. But
it also matters like what the message is you're trying to project.
Yeah.
Like I want 10,000 people to leave my videos feeling or thinking what.
Yeah.
And if you can deliver that, if you felt like through your Madden series, you were at the end of the hour, 40 minutes, whatever, you delivered on the message that you wanted people to walk away with, the feeling that you wanted them to have when they left the video, and that was that, I think that's successful. But if you're just like, this one like piece of content we did, I'm excited about because it got the views. No, but like you might be trying to go in a different direction with your company where it's like, no, we want all these to be vlogs and we want people to be like, I'm falling in love with Jack's personality or something like that. Different way to look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're going to entertain, educate, and showcase. So we're going to showcase stadiums, arenas, the experience, all that stuff through entertainment. But then you'll also be educated if you want to go to that game. So that'll be like the vlog stuff. We'll do reacts content. We'll do our live video game stuff. But I'm excited because we got to get in that mindset of where
I'm excited for you guys. I think you're going to learn a lot. I think it's going to be tough, but I think that's what makes you way better in the long run.
And this is my belief that like, we spent $5,000 on video equipment, but we're spending, a full salary on a YouTube editor. That's a big initiative. So
don't I know?
So I'm excited for it. And if we fail, then
I mean, that's like it's not gonna be a failure. It only
we'll learn
the way you look at it. You know what I mean? Like whatever you build as a base, like you could take that with you in a year and a half. Maybe you're getting 3,000 views per video. It's like, okay, we can do whatever we want with 3,000 views and continue to, push on that. Yeah. But I don't know. I wouldn't I would more so get down the process that you're having, how you like, and you'll learn like as you're going through the videos, you'll learn like this is probably the best structure of the videos that we want. Yeah. We want to have this very, cyclical and a routine in the videos so people know what they're expecting when they show up every time. I think that could be the one thing. Like you guys like to test and experiment a lot. I think if every single video is just like wildly different, that's very, and I've talked about my opinion on this. I think lifestyle content is earned with your audience. You know what I mean? Like people want value. They want quick hits of value. And if everything is just about like you and everything is about like, oh, like look at what I'm doing, et cetera, you might have a hard time like grabbing people and having them for the long run.
Yeah. Oh, we want to. We'll do a Q&A next week. We will, but we do want to put out that we're looking for an editor. You want to do that in the Discord?
Yeah, we'll put it on. I don't know how many people will watch after an hour and 5 minutes, but we will be looking for a full length editor for these videos. They're not very difficult. We're just sitting here obviously talking. So we need like a YouTube editor and then vertical.
Yeah, we got to figure that out too.
Okay. So if anyone's interested in doing YouTube edits for this, you're a fan of the podcast and want to help us out, email either of us, nick@bdge.co.
Jack at snapbacksports.com.
You got the com.
Paid, I think it cost like $3,000. We didn't do it for 2 years, and then our email started ending up in spam.
Yeah. What was your email? Was it .co?
Yeah.
bdge.com. I'm pretty sure I reached out. I think it was like 25 grand.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what does this BDG even mean?
Right.
Like, it's bullshit that you have.
What is it?
So I'm not sure who owns it, but there is a company on the stock market, BDGE.
Okay.
I'll never forget, like, when I thought of the name, it was like the first thing I did was type in BDG on Google and saw it was like a stock market company. And I was like, no, like, I'll never be able to be on this stock market. And I was like, it was like Bridgecorp. Fucking bullshit.
Interesting.
Yeah, we need an editor, so reach out to either of us. Comment down below. Join the Discord, all that kind of stuff. Welcome back. Never missing an episode again.